Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. This week we are going to be doing the first modification on Mike's S14. For those of you that have been tuning in, you know we picked this up with the idea that he wants to build a dedicated track car with a little bit of show car in it as well. And we've basically been just doing standard maintenance to make sure that it is solid so we can use it as a daily driver as well. However, today we're finally stepping away from that and we're going to be doing our first modification, and it's the first step towards making this the Letty tribute car that's going to be. We actually found the screen accurate Viz wing that they had on Letty's car in the Fast and Furious movie, and we're going to be installing it on this car today. However, two things before we get started. One, if you want to see more automotive, particularly GTR and now S14 content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And two, if you'd like to support the channel, I do have the JD Archer shop. If you go to jdarcher.bigcartel.com, you can see a limited selection of t-shirts I've designed that are for sale. But with that out of the way, let's start making this a little fast and furious. The first thing I do before we get started is what I do in all of my videos when I show you how to work on any car, and that is walk you through all of the tools and products you need to get this job done. That way, if this is a project you want to do on your car, you never find yourself in the situation where you've taken the car apart, realize you're missing something, and you're making that emergency call to all your buddies looking for a ride down to either Lowe's or Pep Boys to get whatever tool or part you need to finish the job. In this instance, it's going to be a very easy job. You're not going to need a lot of stuff to get this done. In fact, this is even a great project for the beginning mechanic if you haven't worked on cars too much, because you really don't need a lot. The main thing you're going to need, of course, is just a standard toolkit. For those who've been following the channel for a while, you know I'm a fan of Craftsman. I've been using them for a while. I love that whole no questions asked tool replacement program that I've used quite a few times and probably saved quite a bit of money on. The other thing you're going to need, of course, is a tape measure. This is where, if you're a beginning mechanic, you're going to want to take your time because you're going to measure everything to make sure you're truly in the middle of the trunk. Because basically, once you drill into it, you're kind of committed with the placement. Which brings us on to the last piece of tool that you're going to need, and that is a drill. This one right here is, of course, a battery-powered drill. For those of you that know, a corded drill usually is better and more consistent with power. But if you're in a situation like ours where you don't have your own garage, battery-powered drill is a great way to go. Also, as with any of my other videos, if there is any tool or product that you see in this video that you need for your kit, I will have it listed in the description down below, along with links. So if there's something you need, you can just click on the link. It'll take you where you need to go to get that particular part or tool. But with all of that out of the way, let's start drilling into Mike's car. Okay, so I know this might be a little bit of a jarring change here. As you can see, not only are we on a different day, but we're in a completely different location. You're gonna see some awesome cars behind me. This is actually Shahar. He's also on Instagram as the Vipers guy, it's plural. And this guy does amazing Fast and Furious car replicas. So as you can see, we got Dom's RX-7, we got Jesse's Jetta, and we have Leon's R33 GTR. So when he found out Mike was doing Letty's tribute, he definitely wanted to get involved with the project, so that's why we're here today. So we're definitely gonna start moving forward. What happened on the last video was one of the issues you get whenever you buy used parts wasn't quite right. All of the hardware for the wing was bent, rusted, some were broken. For some reason, at one point in time, one of the holes in the wing had been, I guess, stripped, and they'd been drilled out, and they didn't give us the proper bolt for that hole, so we had to go find that. So today we have all of that figured out. Should be a nice straightforward video as we go ahead and get rid of the stock wing on this 240 and put on the correct screen accurate wing from Fast and Furious. All right, so time to get started. First thing we need to do is, of course, get the stock wing off. It's actually really easy. You've got 4 10mm nuts. You're gonna want a deep socket though, because it goes pretty deep over the bolt, and it should be a quick, easy removal for the stock piece.
If they are a little rough, he's got the right idea. Throw some WD-40 on there. Because how's that shark go? If it's tight and it's supposed to be loose, WD-40. If it's loose and it's supposed to be tight, duct tape. There we go. And it's off. That was... So, benefit of being over here at Shahar's place is he's got stuff for building a He's got stuff for us building a table, makes this a lot easier. I guess we'll start with these. Already been tightened up. Slide these down just a bit more. adjust the cameras.
All right, so we got the wing together. As you can see, we put down some painter's tape to protect this paint, even though I don't know why we're protecting this paint. As you can see, it's not the best. Like underneath the wing. As you can see, the paint that was under the wing, perfectly fine with the clear coat, everything else gone. But that's okay, he's gonna basically repaint the whole car to be the correct color anyways. But, so we have this thing basically mocked up together. We're gonna basically measure now to make sure that we're on equal lengths between the stands and the end of the trunk, so we know that we're dead center. I think for the distance back on the trunk, it looks about right. So there again, though, we will measure, that way you know the wing's not crooked. And then of course the fun part comes, drilling, where there is no return after that point. One tick, looks like one tick past the 13.
The part that always makes me nervous.
Hey, if I can do it on an R35.
I thought you did it on your car, I can do it on mine.
So we've now drilled the trunk. As you can see, we've got the holes in here, but as you can see, we're gonna run into a bit of an issue. As you can see, you can get to these holes very, very easily. However, the hole that's drilled right here, you have this extra sub-bracing for the trunk, which makes it very difficult to get through. Now, what you could do if you want to be lazy is just basically run the bolts through here, tighten it. But the problem is, over time, the sub-bracing metal is going to fatigue, which means it's going to warp and deform, it's going to bend, which means your wing is going to get loose. It's best to actually bolt it directly to the trunk metal. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a window here. That way we can actually run the bolts through and lock it down directly to the trunk metal. Now, the other issue that we're going to run into here is this metal is actually really, really thin. It deformed real easily. If you watched during the time that we were actually drilling, it was actually, you know, flexing in and out, which means that I'm worried that over time, the wing could just rip right off the trunk. So what we're gonna do is we picked up some metal here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically cut this into strips as well, drill some holes, and what it does is this gives us a better surface area of where we're attaching the wing to the trunk. That way, if it wants to lift up, push down, or basically rock around, it basically distributes the load. Instead of having 4 bolts, it has this whole plate, so it's going to distribute the load better. Now, that's also another reason why we need to cut this window, so we can actually fit that metal in there. I actually halfway followed my own advice today. I actually brought some safety equipment. I brought the mask, but I forgot eye protection. So I do have some wraparound shades. They're going to protect me a little bit, but typically when you do any type of grinding and metal work, you want proper eye protection. I just didn't bring any because, well, I forgot. But at least I brought the mask. So we're just gonna go ahead and start cutting into this a little bit more. It looks like the camera stopped recording during all of that, but you didn't miss much aside from just a horrible grinding sound. But as you can see, I cut 2 windows in here, which means we now have access to these holes, which means we can properly bolt up the wing to the actual metal of the trunk. Mike is currently working on the brackets that we're going to be basically installing underneath there to basically make it so there's more surface area on the wing, so it's less likely to rip off and will be more securely mounted to the car. All right, so we got the plates made. As you can see, eats up more surface area, so we're gonna see if we can get it all to fit. All right, so we got the plate in, we've got the bolts in, everything is lining up. I'm leaving everything loose though. I'm not gonna tighten anything down until we've got the whole wing basically mocked up, and then we'll tighten everything down together, because if you tighten it down before you actually test fit, something might be a little bit off. At least when everything's loose, things can kind of move around. You can basically make it fit. But now we just got this side ready to put the wing completely on. All right, so we're almost done. We've got the plates in, we've got the bolts set, we got the feet basically lined up. So like I said, we don't have these locked down tight because we want them to be able to move at least a little bit. That way we can fit the actual wing in. And then once the wing is locked down, we'll lock these down and everything should be all sorts of ready to go. Are we doing that now?
Yeah.
All right. All right, leave it on this side, go on this side. Excellent. Cool deal. Okay, so it looks like everything fits. It's still really loose though, because like I said, I want to make sure everything fit before we locked it down. So now we're going to go ahead and tighten everything down, and this project is done. There we go. The wing's nice and solidly mounted. It's not going anywhere. All the nuts and bolts are tightened down, so we're ready to go. There's only one more thing I like to take care of in this instance. Now, Mike isn't going to be able to take this car to a body shop for a little while because obviously there's a lot of body work that kind of needs to be done. So the holes in the trunk left over from the stock wing aren't going to get filled anytime soon. They will when he does the body work, but just not anytime soon. Now, we are in Southern California, which typically rain is not an issue, but you know, actually it's been weird this year. We have had some rain. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the holes that are currently left over from the trunk and we're just going to basically cover them up with some black vinyl circles. Very fortunate the car is already black, so that makes this lots of easy. I got this off of Amazon. So they match in. It's not like it's a green car with black spots, so it'll look a little better. And then once he gets to the body shop, gets those hole filled, this car's going to look really great. And there it is, the first mod done on Mike's 240Sx. It's the first step on the road to becoming a fast and furious car. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go hit that thumbs up button to let me know. It does help the channel out a lot. As I did say at the beginning of the video, if you'd like to see more automotive, particularly GTR and now S14 content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on all forms of social media, which include Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, and there'll be links to all those in the description down below. Now, after watching this video, if you have any questions, comments, or this is a project you think about doing to your car, go ahead and post in the comment section down below. I will respond to you. I thank you all for watching, and until next time, forget everything else, focus on the finish line.